Hi friends, I'm Phoebe. Welcome to my music discovery journey where I catch up on all the music I missed out on over the years and share my great finds with you. Now, Token is an artist that I've only just recently discovered and heard about through the comments of some of my Ren videos. Now, I have just come off the back of filming What Does Your Love Look Like? Ren and Token together collaborating, and it was really good. It was really heavy. And I realized after filming that Token talks about his family and being in a broken home, but also about the loss of his father. And I didn't know in what capacity it was referencing a phone call that he got at 1:34 a.m. And I didn't know until after that it was referencing his father's suicide. So it's a very heavy topic, but super important. And I think it's really good to get messages out there for people who otherwise feel isolated or don't have people to relate to. And some subjects are not as normalized as they should be. Obviously, it's horrible to be going through these things, but I think it's so good to talk about them as hard as it is. So I really respect that Token's written stuff with Ren at least about heavier subjects. This one's called I'm Your Baby, and I know this one is heavy as well because we recently raided into Reaction's stream, and a fellow reactor who had just finished looking at this track, and she was talking about how it was quite heavy and it was quite triggering. And so I thought I would do it. I know what I'm getting into. I know that it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows, but I think it's going to be an important topic. I'm not 100% sure what it's about, but that's what we're here for, to find out, to listen, to break it down. It's only 3 minutes 24, so it'll probably fly by, but it looks like there's a whole lot of lyrics just from a very quick glance. So let's not waste any more time. Even the first notes feel dark, feel quite heavy.
Internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me, super bad American Pie, Hollywood signs, triple X search raised me, I'm your baby. Mom left my dad and never talked to a man again, just to paint a picture how the marriage went. And that's just what I thought what every marriage was. I still would call it love, but I never saw him touch, and I knew it wasn't sex, I only seen them kiss once. But married for 20 plus, when I was young, if it was nudity in movies, mama put some anger to it. Little did she know that I wasn't a stranger to it. Internet trolls.
Oh, okay. So with the absence of parents in his life in the capacity that you would hope parents are, he did have his mum around, but says she left his dad. I know that he wasn't around. I'm not sure when he ended up not being around, but they weren't in a happy relationship. It says internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me. I'm not sure who Dan is. Superbad, Superbad, American Pie, Hollywood signs, triple X search raised me, I'm your baby. I guess all these things on the internet or TV, things that aren't your parents, but this is how he grew up. He was consuming these things, and these things were within reach for him. Doesn't mean they were good. In fact, it's probably not a healthy upbringing to just consume yourself with TV and movies that are about growing up and perhaps giving interesting stories to look at, perhaps making you grow up too fast in certain situations. Triple X, XXX stuff. Is that porn? Is that something else? Superbad, American Pie, they're films that we've watched growing up, but there can be some awkward discussions in those. Perhaps he never had the talk with his parents, and we never really had the talk in a way that was comfortable. It was really awkward, but there were certain attempts made. But coming from this situation, it's he's reflecting on how he was brought up, obviously. Mum left my dad and never talked to a man again, just to paint a picture how the marriage went. And that's just what I thought what every marriage was. So that's all he knew, right? If you grow up in an environment that teaches you this is what this is, he's got the wrong impression of love, or a one story that it's the only thing he knows. I don't even know how else to say it. And that's kind of sad in a way, but real at the same time. You can't have more experiences if you haven't got those. You can't learn about things if you don't see them in certain scenarios, but you can learn about things on the TV, on the internet, and such, about different relationships. And I guess you can learn yourself about experiences by experiencing them yourself, but it doesn't paint a full picture of what something could be like. For example, love. I still would call it love, but never saw them touch. And I know it wasn't sex. I only seen them kiss once, but married for 20 plus. So they were married for a long time. Perhaps he didn't see the honeymoon phase, or the excitement phase, or the happiness phase, maybe even. Perhaps they stayed together because they had kids, or a kid at least. When I was young, if it was nudity in movies, Mama put some anger to it. Little did she know I wasn't a stranger to it. Perhaps he's saying if she caught him seeing naked people on TV or in movies, she wasn't happy about it. She would be angry about it. But he secretly was looking at that already, I think. And then going back to internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me, Superbad, American Pie, Hollywood Signs, Triple X Search raised me, I'm your baby. Like, he's a product of these things.
In movies, Mama put some anger to it. Little did she know that I wasn't a stranger to it. Internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me, Superbad, American Pie, Hollywood Signs, Triple X Search raised me, I'm your baby.
Also, the fact that, yeah, he's a product of these things in the absence of parents who were able to bring him up in a healthy environment. His mum left his dad. She might not have been happy. She might not have been able to function. It might not necessarily be her fault that this happened, but it is just a thing that has happened, right? Perhaps his dad was toxic. Perhaps he wasn't. Who knows? Perhaps his mum was toxic. We don't know. We just know. We know what we know, and we can only assume or look at the clues that are left here.
Superbad, American Pie, Hollywood Signs, Triple X Search raised me, I'm your baby. I was infatuated with sex when I was 6. Mom blamed it on the music, so CDs were edited. But it wasn't the CDs, the privacy intrigued me. You look when they say don't look. So I was 8 scribbling pictures of a naked body till the teacher found my notebook. She had to make sure my home's good, so I was put in therapy. Imagine a therapist studying an 8-year-old's rendition of naked breasts. I was always questioned, especially cause I only grew up with women present. My therapist put down his pad during one session and asked if I ever thought about my mom and my sister naked. I don't remember what I said, I just remember the feeling of realizing my mom and sister were big breasted. I broke out crying, I couldn't stop and I didn't know why. It's funny which memories stick with you. I was 9. Keep going. When I was 12, I started hanging with older kids.
Shit.
They would tell me things and they would show me things.
It's that thing of young, impressionable kids. Memories, he said memories stick with you. I don't know if he's neurodivergent, and I know you don't have to put a label on it, but I know, being autistic myself, I know certain things like stick in your head, even if they're like strange, and you're like, I don't want to think about that. And I don't know if it's the same for taboo subjects or whatever, but I can imagine a lot of people will have that thing where they're like, why is that in my head now? Or has someone else put that in my head and why I don't want to think about that. It's not nice. But your mind is a strange thing. You can block things out and you can distract yourself, but there can be things that pop up that come back over and over again. He said, um, sorry, I pressed space because I was in the lyrics and then and then it went down. So I'm just finding my spot again. I was infatuated with sex when I was 6. That's such a young age. And a lot of people, I think my eyebrows raised because that was just when I was 6, I was playing with Barbies and Transformers. Maybe that was when we had Nintendo or something, but it wasn't something that I even knew existed at that time. But some people are exposed to it at a young age, and he's saying here, Mum blamed it on the music, so CDs were edited, so she took that away from him, perhaps. But he's saying it wasn't the CDs. The privacy intrigued me. You look when they say don't look. I remember when we were younger, and our parents were like, "You can't watch those things," and we went. Someone's older sister was babysitting us, and her partner were watching something that was naughty in the other room, and we were like, kind of spying, like, "Oh my god, what are they watching?" And someone had uh, no top on at one point, and it was like I can't remember. I think it was a horror movie, scary one, and so we weren't there for long, but we got told off because she caught us giggling away. It was that kind of thing where we're like, we know we're not supposed to, so we're going to do that because we're young kids just being stupid that don't know any better. And if you're around it or you see it or you're being silly and trying to be cool in front of your friends, there's a whole manner of things that you can be exposed to that's not necessarily good or healthy for you, or perhaps makes you feel like you've grown up too fast. And he's it's really good that he's bringing this up because it's like the shock factor, but this is just how it was for him. So to him, it's not the shock factor. This is just what he thought was what life was like for him. You say look, sorry, he says you look when they say don't look. That's so powerful. So I was 8, scribbling pictures of a naked body till the teacher found my notebook. She had to make sure my home's good, so I was put in therapy. They were concerned. They're like, "What the hell was this about?" And people don't know what to do with that, or people, I guess, to deal with that, they put him in therapy to see if that would help. Imagine a therapist studying an 8-year-old's rendition of naked breasts. I was always questioned, especially because I only grew up with women present, so they knew that he lived with his mum and his sister. And then asking what if he thought about them naked, like that's a very invasive question. And also that would, even if he hadn't at that point, that could put those thoughts into his head, you know. I don't remember what I said. I just remember the feeling of realizing my mum and my sister were big breasted, and then getting upset about it. I broke out crying, couldn't stop, and I didn't know why. Saying it's funny which memories stick with you. I was 9, and then keep going. So he's telling more of his story as he gets older. But it is weird how memories stick with you, and not necessarily the ones that we want. Sometimes not even ones that are significant at all. It's so strange, but they're there. And he was upset about that. So he knew, I think he knew it was wrong, or it was an unwanted thought. But being at a young age, how do you deal with that if you're not taught how to deal with that properly? Even if you're questioned by a therapist, did the therapist help? Did they offer any support in any other way? Did they offer techniques to think about other things, or were they just questioning him and checking everything at home? Hopefully they did more than just that. But also, I'm sure he was up to a lot at that age, that there's a lot that you can forget. There's a lot of trauma that you can also forget or block out of your mind because you don't want to remember it. When I was 12, I started hanging with older kids. They would tell me things and they would show me things. So this is where we just left off. That sounds really daunting. Young and impressionable, being around older kids, you kind of want to fit in, you want to be cool, you want to be the younger one that's almost like a protege. Protege? The young Padawan.
I put down his pad during one session and asked if I ever thought of my mom and my sister naked. I don't remember what I said, I just remember the feeling of realizing my mom and sister were big breasted. I broke out crying, I couldn't stop and I didn't know why. It's funny which memories stick with you. I was 9. Keep going. When I was 12, I started hanging with older kids. They would tell me things and they would show me things. Teachers always said I had an old soul. Must have been just my soul, cause my brain didn't know a thing. A mutual friend led me to this older kid's house. We were in his basement, 2 other older kids round. When my homie left, I should've left, but I stayed there. Didn't know these kids well, but I felt safe there. Shouldn't have felt safe there. Dirty conversations about the girls in their grade where people lost virginities, me I ain't even kissed yet. I didn't even think about getting my wet. That night I was talked into doing things I ain't wanna do. A lot of I don't knows, a lot of come on dude, a lot of no one's even gonna know, a lot of closing eyes, a lot of long showers and no appetites. Internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me, super bad American pie, Hollywood signs, XXX search raised me, I'm your baby.
Man, that's rough, and it's so vulnerable sharing that. That would take a lot of courage to talk about, knowing a lot of people are going to hear that, see it, read it. But it's so important to talk about it. It's not right, but it's not his fault. He was in that position. He found himself in that position. When I was 12, I started hanging with older kids. They would tell me things and they would show me things. Teachers always said I had an old soul. Must have been just my soul because my brain didn't know a thing. Yeah, because he was young, 12. Mutual friend led me to this older kid's house. We were in his basement. Two other older kids around. Obviously, he's saying his friend left. He's setting the scene and then saying things happened. The conversation turned nasty, dirty. Talking about losing virginity, and he's like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I wasn't thinking about myself, and saying that he was kind of forced to do things he didn't want to do, and they were encouraging him, telling him to come on, telling him no one's gonna know. That's just awful. That's really traumatic and probably quite triggering for people that have been in that situation. Being forced to do something you don't want to do, it's horrible. And then there's a lot of shame that comes with that. There's a lot of feeling that it's your fault, that you shouldn't have been there, done that. But when you're in a situation where you're pressured by other people, it's really hard to get out of. He said he felt safe there, right? But he shouldn't have felt safe there. He acknowledged that. But they'd lured him into this false sense of security. And then he's there on his own. His friend's not there. What's he supposed to do? If he says no, are they going to hurt him? Because all these thoughts will go through your head when you're put in a position like that. Can I leave? Can I say no? I don't think I can. They're going to hate me. They're going to do something worse. So you go along with it, even though you know you shouldn't. And even though you regret it, you hate it, you feel disgusting. Showers, no appetites, feeling like he can't eat, like he doesn't want to talk about it. He might have taken his anger out on people because of it. It's so hard to come to terms with stuff like that and acknowledge that it happened because you don't want to. And how do you just, you can't casually tell someone that it happened, even if you're, you should be able to talk to people about this and tell someone that it happened. But who's the safe person? How do you know at 12? Do you know that an adult is going to be a safe person? Are they going to get you into trouble? Are they going to tell the kids and then they're going to come for you? Like, it's so difficult. And of course, you hope that there are people who can help in this situation. But as a kid, how are you supposed to know that? It takes a lot of guidance and a lot of teaching from people to know what the options might be. Because at this age, I don't think he knew what the options were. Or, yeah, was in a really shit situation and must have hated it.
I'm your baby. I just started dropping music at the time, writing love songs about a girl I hope to find, playing Wayne tapes, knowing I could never say the first body to touch my body looked just like mine. It's funny which memories end up sticking with you, cause I forgot it even happened till I turned 22. Then it all came back and it felt brand new, wondering if it plays a role in relationships I pursue, or is it just a distant memory that never left a mark. One night my homie had some questions at the bar. He said, why do all of your girls look fresh out of a magazine? I said, it's just my type. He said, I feel you, but I mean, what if the perfect girl for you was normal looking? Would you do something? I said, what? He said, it just feels like you're trying to prove something. And you know that everyone knows you well, so maybe you still trying to prove something to yourself. What are you still trying to prove? Internet trolls raised me, ads raised me, Nickelodeon raised me, Dan raised me, super bad American Pie, Hollywood signs, triple X search raised me, I'm your baby.
Shit. What are you trying to prove? He said he was writing a song about a girl he hoped to find. Playing Wayne tapes, knowing I could never say. Bill Wayne, is that the first body that touched my body looked just like mine? He's saying it was one of the kids, one of the boys that put him in that situation, and he didn't want that. That wasn't what he was asking for. And then reiterating the thing about it's funny which memories end up sticking with you. I forgot it even happened till I turned 22, and say it came back and it felt brand new. That's the whole thing of trying to suppress memories, trying to forget about bad things that happened because you don't want to, because the shame is all there again, and the regret and all these horrible feelings. It's PTSD. Wondering if it plays a role in relationships I pursue. We talk about things that affect us over our lives and what part they might play in how we are today. So I guess he's thinking about that. Wondering if it's a distant memory that never left a mark, or if it did. Did it leave a mark? Didn't it? A lot of things have an effect on us. Whatever that is, it might not necessarily mean the thing that we think it might, or the thing that we don't want it to. But everything that happens in our lives shapes us in some way. Even if it's a bad experience, it can make us feel more alert, more mindful, more determined to not be like that. To look out for each other, make sure others are safe. It could make us do different things as well. It can make people lash out. They don't know how to deal with what happened or what they've suppressed, so they take it out on others and they can't explain it for a long time. His friend asking, why do your girls look fresh out of a magazine? Like he's compensating for something. He says it's just my type. And his friend said, I feel you, but what if the perfect girl is normal looking for you? Would you do something and it feels like you're trying to prove something? You know that everyone knows you well, so maybe you're still trying to prove something to yourself. What are you still trying to prove? I think he's contemplating that. He's wondering, yeah, what am I trying to prove? This guy's got a point. A lot of therapists would probably ask the same thing. What are you overcompensating for someone who is maybe almost like this filtered version of a real life person, or enhanced to make up for the fact that he was abused by a guy. And it's completely normal and valid to feel shame from it, but it's not okay that people make others feel like that. It's not okay that others leave that feeling with someone. And it's okay to feel those things, but it's not fair. You know? Ah, that's really powerful, and it's to be continued. So I didn't realize there was more than one part to this, but we're going to have to finish the story, aren't we? As Cody Rhodes would say. Thank you so much for watching along with me. That was really powerful. I really had this need to see what Token had done after watching the one with Ren. Two heavy ones in a row, but I'm okay. I feel a lot of empathy for people, and I feel a lot of sadness knowing what people have experienced that they shouldn't have experienced, and just wish that that didn't happen to anyone, you know? So that's sometimes gets me, but I think it's really important that people talk about it. And I think this is really a respectful piece of work. So thank you for watching. Thank you to anyone on Ko-fi or Patreon that supports, goes the extra mile, because you're already doing more than enough being here. Thank you to anyone that donates on Patreon. If you want to join as a member, you can join for free, or you can join for £1 and up and get a little thank you at the end of my videos. Now I'm about to go find a tissue because I was supposed to find one earlier and I haven't. And take care. See you soon. Bye bye.